is nothing scarier for a citizen to get a subpoena or find out that they're being investigated by a federal criminal grand jury. It's terrifying, and here's why. Grand jury investigations sweep broadly. They gather terabytes of information, and they're very efficient at going through it.
Don't talk to me about an investigation. Don't talk to me about a woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda, a houlda, houlda, houlda. I don't want to hear none of that sugar honey iced tea. All I want to hear is bars clanging from people shutting the jail door. What if you could delay your next 2 mortgage payments? That's right. Imagine putting those 2 payments in your pocket and finally getting a little breathing room. It's possible when you call American Financing today. If you're feeling stretched by everyday expenses, groceries, gas, bills piling up on you, you're not alone. Most Americans are putting these expenses on a credit card, and there doesn't seem to be a way out. American Financing can show you how to use your home equity to pay off that debt. You need to call American Financing today before you get to a point where you can't make those payments. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are helping homeowners just like you reconstruct their loans and consolidate debt, all without upfront fees. And their customers are saving an average of $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 raise. It's fast, it's simple, and it could save your budget this summer. Call now before it's too late. Call American Financing today, 866-889-8010. That's 866-889-8010 or AmericanFinancing.net/Tatum. Pam Bondi, Greenlights, Letitia James investigation. Y'all remember that bald head scallywag? Bring her up on the screen. Letitia James should go to prison. And I want these people to go to prison. I don't just want an investigation. Don't talk to me about an investigation. Don't talk to me about a woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda, a houlda, houlda, houlda. I don't want to hear none of that sugar honey iced tea. All I want to hear is bars clanging from people shutting the jail door. I don't want to hear that investigation stuff. Don't talk to me about an investigation. Don't tell the American people Letitia James is being investigated. Don't do the press conference. I don't give a F. Show me when she's indicted. Then that's when you can come out and do a press conference. Letitia James has now been indicted. What? Barack Obama is now being indicted. Oh, what? Hillary Clinton is finally going to jail. What? Come on with it. We are conducting an investigation. We will not tolerate people breaking the law. Everybody should be held accountable. You ain't holding nobody accountable though. But since it's news, I'll report on it. Let's talk about it. Roll the clip.
Some breaking news sources are telling us that New York Attorney General Letitia James and her office are under investigation by the Department of Justice in relation to her case against President Trump. Justice correspondent David Spunt is in Washington. What do you know, David?
Well, hi, Dana. 2 well-placed sources familiar with the probe tell Fox News that New York Attorney General Letitia James and her office is under investigation by the DOJ here in Washington. We're told that Attorney General Pam Bondi signed off on the probe. Subpoenas were sent to James's office, and there is a grand jury investigation underway in the New York State capital of Albany. The specific investigation, my colleague Jake Gibson, Ashley Oliver, and myself are being told involves deprivation of rights, which in plain language means someone in a position of legal authority violating someone else's constitutional or legal rights. Those sources tell Fox News the DOJ is going after James because she took then former President Donald Trump to court, quote, simply because she didn't like him and campaigned on getting him. DOJ, led by Bondi, believes she violated his First Amendment rights dealing with free speech. James has said before she believed Trump inflated his net worth to get good deals on loans from lenders and other financial benefits. Ms. James won in a court judgment of over $450 million against the Trump Organization. Trump is appealing, and it's pending. The entire scope of the grand jury probe in Albany, Dana, is unclear. Grand juries are secretive, but we've learned from these well-placed sources it stems from a recent strike force set up inside the Justice Department to investigate an alleged plot to tie Trump to Russia in 2016. Sources say that strike force has expanded to other topics. Now, to recap, the Justice Department has initiated grand jury proceedings in Albany, New York, against the Empire State Attorney General Letitia James. But remember, this is important. A grand jury simply decides if there's enough evidence to indict. To be clear, we are told this is very early in the process, and no one, as I speak to you right now, is facing any charges at this time. Fox News reached out to Attorney General James's office multiple times, but we've yet to hear back. Dana?
All right, David Spunt, thank you.
All right, let's talk about this just a little bit. Of course, CNN is losing their mind and going off the rails because she's actually being investigated. But let's not forget that Letitia James is also being investigated for mortgage fraud. You know, she was accused of misrepresenting information to get favorable mortgage terms on properties in Virginia and New York. But yet she prosecuted Donald Trump, claiming that that he's facing security, well, at least the judgment of $450 million, because they said that he misled banks, inflated his net worth. The crazy thing is that he paid back every loan for every bank that loaned him money ahead of schedule with interest. He didn't defraud on any loans. He did nothing. So if he inflated his net worth, or he inflated the value of property, banks have an obligation to do due diligence. I can't just go and say, my headquarters is worth $40 million. Can you give me a loan against that? Man, the bank gonna look at you and be like, what, we need an appraisal. How you gonna say $40 million? What is some of the businesses worth around you? Okay, if this one worth $2 million, the next one is worth $2 million, and the other one's worth $2 million, you can't claim $40 million. The bank is not gonna defraud themselves. So when Donald Trump is inflating his stuff, the bank is signing off on it. They are believing, after doing due diligence, that he is worth somewhere around that point. They loaned him the money, he paid the money back. Where's the fraud at? And then this garden tool said Mar-a-Lago was only worth $17 million. They selling acre lots next to Mar-a-Lago for $20 million with no house on it. Acre lots. Mar-a-Lago is 17 acres. That's just the land. We're not even talking about the building worth on Mar-a-Lago's property. We're not talking about the people who have memberships at Mar-a-Lago, which is probably worth tens of millions of dollars collectively. We're not talking about the clout and attention that the property has. And we're not talking about the portion of Mar-a-Lago that is on a waterfront. They got both sides on waterfront. It's at least $20 million for a waterfront acre. I did the math. They have 7 acres of waterfront. They can sell 7-acre lots at $20 million an acre just on the edge of Mar-a-Lago. And this garden tool went to court, and because New York is biased, said it's only worth $17 million. $17 million. That's the craziest I ever heard in my life. But anyway, let's go to CNN and do a meltdown over this. And it's funny, they will not talk about Letitia James' investigation. I'm going to get into a little bit of her investigation after this, but I want to play this clip, roll it.
That's a breaking news coming into the Situation Room right now. The U.S. Justice Department is opening an investigation into the New York Attorney General Letitia James's office. This comes as part of a criminal investigation into James, who previously prosecuted Trump. Let's go live right now to our correspondent, Bryn Gingras in New York. What are you learning, Bryn?
Yeah, well, so we're getting this information. Our Karis Canal confirming that there are now 2 grand jury subpoenas issued by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of New York, looking to get information about James's office, basically trying to see if there was any criminality by her office when she filed that civil lawsuit against the Trump organization. If you remember that lawsuit going to trial and the Trump organization being found liable, having to owe now at this point, because of interest, about $500 million in penalty. So it appears that this is a pursuit to figure out if there was any criminality in the investigation moving forward to that lawsuit. So we're still trying to work out all the details of this, but we also understand there is another subpoena in relation to James suing the NRA, if you remember, the National Rifle Association, which was also found liable after the lawsuit her office files. Now, we know that James is a big adversary of Trump, and we know that Trump has a history of going after people who have gone against him. He's spoken out many times against James herself during the time of that trial, and even most recently. So this is something, of course, that we're going to continue to follow, but that is the latest news that we're getting right now, again, from our Karis Canal.
All right, we'll see what happens. Bryn Gingras reporting for us. Thank you very, very much. Up next, do CNN reporting.
Why? Hold on. All this stuff that they said, did I miss it, y'all? Comment section, tell me. Did they mention one thing about her being investigated for wire fraud, bank fraud, and all this other stuff she did? She literally acted and lied like she was her dad's wife on a document. She lied about the number of units in a particular a number of rooms, I think, in a particular unit. Because if you had 3 bedrooms or units in an apartment complex, I think it was like 5 or more units is this. So she said she had 4 units instead of 5. So she got a tremendous a better interest rate. She prosecuting him for misleading banks to get favorable deals while she did the same thing. All right, last clip. MSDNC warns James that she should be concerned. Roll the clip.
There is nothing scarier for a citizen to get a subpoena or find out that they're being investigated by a federal criminal grand jury. It's terrifying, and here's why. Grand jury investigations sweep broadly. They gather terabytes of information, and they're very efficient at going through it. And the problem there for people is that they may be investigating issue number one and then stumble across never before known issue number two when going through all those documents. That is why if somebody is the subject, the target of a grand jury investigation, that is not a good sign. So given that the federal government has such tremendous power to investigate, Letitia James should be very concerned. Not that she necessarily did anything wrong, but because that kind of scrutiny of financial records, of business records, everything going back probably years might yield something that the government finds interesting.
I can't stand these people. I'm glad that she's getting the scrutiny that she deserved. But why, when they talk about these things on the television, they don't mind going back and mentioning everything that Trump has ever been involved in, but they won't mention Letitia James is being investigated for the crimes that she committed potentially against the, banks, lying, bank records, bank record fraud, all this stuff. Why don't they mention it? Because they're selectively creating a narrative. That's why they call it television. They're telling you a vision. They're not allowing you to develop a vision. They're telling you the vision that they want you to have. These people are evil, man. And that's why, the same thing with the whole Israel thing. It's like, and people keep saying, debate Myron on Israel. I'm going to have him come on the show. I got his phone number, so I'll text him. As soon as I get the panel together, I'll text him. Let him come on there.